From the News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine.
Good morning, everyone. Nick Beres here. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. It's Thursday, Open Phones Thursday. Lots of stuff to talk about. I invite you to join in the conversation. We'll get the phone number up there in just a moment. But, there always, are stories going on to talk about every Thursday. But some weeks, more big stories than others, don't you think? And there's a lot here, and I'm very curious to hear what your take is on it. And by the way, the stories I'm referring to, not just local. We've got some big local stories, we've got some big national stories, and we have a few big international stories, all against the backdrop that this, of course, is the anniversary of September 11th. Time to remember that. I remember it like it was yesterday. We were actually in the middle of a MorningLine program when all of that started. And to this day, of course, we continue to feel it and remember it. And security in a lot of places around the country increased dramatically, and heck, this is one day I think a lot of people think twice before flying, simply because there's a lot of chatter out there right now among some of these terrorist groups overseas come this anniversary, and you always worry that someone might try something again, God forbid. But it's time to at least take a moment to remember that. But let me set the table for you, and the number's up on the screen, 737-7587. Comment about any of the stories I throw your way, or you're free to bring up something else. But one story that's just breaking this morning, and that we had talked about on occasion, and this is from overseas, but the whole case of Oscar Pistorius, accused of murdering his girlfriend. Remember the Blade Runner there in South Africa? Well, this morning, much to my surprise, the judge cleared him of murdering her, beautiful woman, cleared him of all murder charges, saying prosecutors failed to prove that Oscar, who was an Olympic and Paralympic track star, intended to kill his girlfriend. Remember, his argument was that he thought there was an intruder, and he fired through a wall, shooting what he thought was an intruder, of course, hitting and killing his girlfriend. And I'm baffled by this. Now, she found him not guilty of premeditated murder, as he sits there crying again. All that guy does is cry in court, all right? And then she also found him not guilty of one lesser charge as well with regard to murder. They took a lunch break, and they're going to come back now, and they still can consider convicting him of culpable homicide for the neglect or reckless killing of this woman. I'll tell you what, if this judge clears him of everything, if you are a criminal looking to commit a horrible crime, go to South Africa, commit it, and hopefully you'll get in front of this judge, because she'll clear you. At the very least, in my opinion, and I followed this, not as closely as she did, of course. Maybe there's elements of it I missed. At the very least, this Pistorius guy is guilty of negligent or reckless killing for simply getting up, not seeing this intruder, but thinking, and firing blindly through the door. Now, just so you know, if he's convicted of one of those two, he's already won. The maximum sentence for negligent in this country is, I think, 15 years, and it's unlikely he would get that. So with her decision to clear him of the premeditated murder, Oscar Pistorius has already won. As I said, I guess not having seen all of the evidence, maybe the judge made the right call on that. But if when they come back from lunch, and this could happen anytime, I'm going to try to monitor it, they clear him of everything, absolutely ridiculous. What kind of judicial system do they have there? Oh, heck, we have crazy verdicts that come down in this country as well. But I don't for a second believe his story that, I thought there was an intruder. He knew she was in there. May not have been premeditated, but it was a act of passion at that moment, and firing blindly through there. Maybe he meant just to scare her and then ends up hitting her. But at the very least, reckless. And we'll see if that comes back. And Mary Elena back there will monitor the computers as well. You let us know. But I wanted to throw that out there, because that for me is a nice big head scratcher. All right, another big murder case, of course, here closer to home. A lot of developments since this past weekend. We talked about it on the show as well. If you want to weigh in on the very latest on Holly Bobo, feel free to do that. As you know, they did find her skull this past Sunday, the TBI confirming that. The question now, since then, what else have they found in this location there in Decatur County? Have they found more of her remains? And based on those remains, might we learn the cause of death? The case continues to build against the two suspects there. If you want to weigh in on the Holly Bobo case, welcome to do that. That closer to home. In this country, the other big story right now is the Ray Rice domestic abuse case. The video, you've seen it now time and again, the TMZ video, they had it first. The big question now is, did the NFL have it? Wow, I cannot stomach watching that, the way he takes her down. That video that TMZ obtained, okay, first, comes out, there's Ray Rice, who got 2-game suspension, and his now wife walking next to him, drags her out like a sack of potatoes and kind of shoves her with his foot. I just can't get over this, and I can't get over that woman marrying him. Well, now we hear that Roger Goodell saying that they did not know about that additional video, and as soon as he saw it, he suspends Ray Rice for the rest of the season. We're hearing now from an AP report that law enforcement, someone within law enforcement, did send a copy of the entire video to the NFL. NFL guys, and we've got an NFL team, and I'm a big Titans team, and I love the NFL. It is arguably the most powerful business entity in this country. The money, the power, the prestige. Don't tell me they couldn't get this tape. I think what we're seeing here is a real statement from the NFL about how they view domestic violence. I mean, there are more NFL players getting nailed for abusing women and still taking to the field. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I got a real problem with it. I know it's a violent sport, but these guys that beat their wives or girlfriends just because they can carry a dang football and play a game and entertain us for a couple hours on Sunday, get slaps on the wrist. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I'm sorry, Mary, what did you say? She's just telling me in my earpiece that we're going to talk more about that with an expert on Tuesday, domestic violence and what it means. And, I'm telling you, that case, I want to hear your take on that as well. So I throw that out there for you. I'm trying to think of some of the big stories from overnight. Slower in terms of the big ones. Of course, the one that's really causing a lot of discussion this morning is the president's announcement last night that he is now authorizing a major expansion of the military campaign against ISIS in the Middle East. That means we're going to see some American airstrikes in Syria, deployment of 475 more military advisors in Iraq. And, as I watch this, and I think we definitely have to take action against what's happening with ISIS and shut them down. But I wonder, as we go way back, and I'm sorry, I'm one of those folks, and hindsight, of course, is 20/20, though I think if we went back, you'd find that I objected to it at the time. Taking out Saddam Hussein, who was a bad, bad guy. But remember, we never found weapons of mass destruction. If Saddam Hussein was still there, yeah, he's still a rotten guy. But I'm telling you, ISIS is a greater threat to the United States than Saddam Hussein ever was. But we had to go in and take him out, didn't we? And now, because we couldn't get something in place, ISIS is taking hold there in Iraq, taking hold in Syria, and this continues. And I want to get the guy that is behind the mask that has executed those two journalists. Hopefully we can figure out who he is. We go after him. I want to get him individually. I almost wish the president last night said, as wrapping it up, and of course no president ever would. By the way, as I conclude tonight, I have a message for one person individual. You, the man who's executed our two journalists. We're going to be taking action against everything ISIS is doing, but we're coming specifically for you. We are going to get you. And when we do, we're going to hold you up for everyone to see. You will be tried and held accountable. That's what I'd love to see. All right, the number, 737-7587. Set the table for you. Your chance to call in and join in the conversation. It gets busy as the show goes on, but a lot of things to talk about. We'll start things off before our first break, and we do have some lines open with Joe. Joe, good morning.
Good morning, Nick.
What's up, my friend?
I just covered some of your stories. I think you hit it right on the head.
Yeah.
Oscar Pistorius.
I don't get it.
It shows again that money will get you in and out of almost anything. His family is wealthy.
Yep.
They got plenty of money, and this is a joke.
Yep.
I mean, that guy, he plainly meant to shoot the woman. I mean, anybody that can't see that.
I don't know how they say, too. They're saying this is a circumstantial case? What are you talking about? You've got all the evidence there in the scene. I mean, I just don't get I'm with you. All right, and in fairness, maybe it wasn't premeditated first-degree murder. Maybe it was something in the passion of the moment. But I'm sorry, I never bought, did you, Joe, his explanation that he thought there was an intruder, so he goes up and blindly shoots through the door. I mean, is this judge the most naive judge on the face of the earth?
Nick, like I say, it's all about the money. The place where he lived had like a 10 or 12-foot wall around it with electric barbed wire around it.
Yeah.
Where anybody would believe that an intruder could even get in is crazy to begin with. And he was clearly on his knees without his legs on when he shot her, because the shots were up from the floor up.
Right.
She was in the bathrooms where she was at. She went in and locked the door to get away from this idiot. I mean, it's crazy. But anyway, moving on, go to the NFL. There again, it's all about the money. I mean, Roger Goodell has done got caught on a big lie.
Yep.
I mean, they had this tape. I mean, if Harvey Levin and TMZ can get it, and the police has done admitted they sent it to the NFL, so.
Well, now my take on that is that Roger Goodell's smart enough, I think. I truly believe that he may not have known about it. Now, maybe I'm being naive myself saying that, but I think he didn't, because, I mean, he would be an absolute fool to go up in public with that interview with Norah O'Donnell and say, no, I didn't know, we never saw the rest of that tape, if he knew he had, because at some point that's going to come out. But that's beside it. If he didn't know about it, but they did have it, that's on him. He's in charge. The buck stops here.
That's exactly right. And if you go back from the get-go on this, the first thing he gave Ray Rice was a 2-game suspension, which was a joke. This was after he saw the tape of him dragging her out in the hall by the hair of the head. I mean, then he come change the rules to a 6-game suspension, and if you get convicted a second time, then you're out. And he's done said he fired Ray Rice. Then he gets on there yesterday and said, well, if he goes to treatment and all that, he could play football again. Well, that's a joke right there.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And here's the thing. Lawyers, Roger Cossack, I saw, one of the lawyers that's followed this, says that, he may play again, that it's not right. If Goodell had this information in the NFL office when he gave him the 2-game suspension, and then the video goes public and they're embarrassed by it, so, oh, yeah, now he's suspended indefinitely. In a court of law, they're going to say, no. You have to go with what you sentenced him first based on all that information you had. Now that you're embarrassed, you want to try it again? No. Ray Rice could be cleared to get back into the NFL, not that a team's going to bring him back. Any NFL team, first of all, Ray Rice pretty much is washed up, in my opinion. He's not the player he once was, so I don't know that many teams would be interested. And 2, any team that takes him on is going to take a PR hit way more significant than the PR hit the Eagles took when they signed Michael Vick after the dogfighting scandal. Keep this in mind, too. The video changes everything. Video changes everything. Before the video, Ray Rice figured he'd be back after 2 games. Can you imagine had there been video released of Michael Vick electrocuting some of those dogs or killing them the way, it was described? Had there been anything like that, visually, video-wise, that went public, Michael Vick would not be in the league right now. There's something about seeing it as opposed to imagining it that makes it so much worse. There was no video of whatever it was Michael Vick did, even though he was convicted and served time. Ray Rice was going to skate on this until the rest of that video was out there. Now that it's there and we see him actually knocking his girlfriend, now wife, out. And what do you think, too, about the wife so, strongly defending him now as she's coming forward upset about this? I mean, she's married him after that. Interesting dynamic there. We'll take a break. When we come back, your thoughts on it all right after this.